What's Happening Hoke show is filmed before a live audience and is brought to you by Rockfish Motor Speedway, the Rock of Hoke, Nunboys.com, and GPS Photography and Video, GPSPhotoandVideo.com.
What's happening, Hoke?
Hoke, welcome back to the What's Happening Hoke show, brought to you by the Rock of Hoke, Rockfish Motor Speedway. And yes, last Friday, two females got into an altercation. Both happened to be active duty soldiers. One shot the other to death, and she was arrested this past week. So I mean, when it comes down to getting upset and your only choice is you use a weapon to solve the conflict, you know, you need to think. It went too far. And unfortunately, that's what loss of life. Another guy who broke into the Fayetteville Observer offices and also broke into some offices in Raleigh. Comes back, active duty veteran, you know. And you hate to see it. I'm not saying any of them had a mental lapse or mental problems or what have you, but when you use the gun as this is my only choice to solve this conflict instead of walking away, it doesn't leave you much room. Well, on the flip side, protection, you got to have it.
Those two incidences I don't put in the same category as Charleston, Oregon, Columbine, or any of the others. And that's the point I was making about
we can
mass
say that
shootings.
something was mentally off about it.
Oh, well, anybody who goes to another
It's not a
female or
normal
male,
act.
if me and you get into an argument standing out in the parking lot, and one of us goes and grabs the 9mm, then we got a problem.
It's not a normal act. But
It's not normal. That's what I'm saying. We can solve.
I'm not a mental health professional.
No,
but I mean,
me neither.
That puts in the amount of maybe something in our own.
I'm just saying those two things that you just mentioned. I'm just sort of putting those in.
So
a
if the other
different
people
category.
around, you saying that they wouldn't have shot other people?
I don't know. That's a what if.
But I mean, you know,
That's
the same thing about the other shootings in Oregon and stuff too.
No,
I know that there are
those people
picking
went
their
in there to
targets.
take out people.
They're picking their targets, and sooner or later they're going to run into somebody that's going to have a weapon. But they know school, they know any gun-free zone is restricted. Hey, that's where I want to hit. And that's how they're picking the targets of weak people.
Well, in North Carolina now,
they wanna
the
kill 'em.
reserve officers, the reserves can carry.
Reserves and National Guards.
So,
But,
at least we're doing something.
don't know if it'll make a difference, but we'll see.
We're doing something.
Hopefully, it won't be any more.
Give me a fighting chance with a gun.
Can you shoot?
Yes, sir.
Are you any good?
Oh,
How
yes,
often you go to the range?
I've been to the range.
Don't tell me you're one of those
probably
people that's in the Walmart and I'm
3 or
walking
4
around and I can see the
times.
dirt on your weapon.
Doesn't matter. We need to get a range right out here
Hey,
and see who can hit the target.
you won't go there with me, partner, 'cause I'm pretty good.
Let's do. No, I'm not just saying
good.
it's
You
fun.
wanna
We
tell
could
me?
have some fun.
Okay.
Let's go get a
Say it.
sponsor and do it there.
Nah, I mean, well, sponsor, yeah, because ammo prices, most definitely. Let's look at sports. High school football rankings came out. Two teams that we play, one that we have played. Jack Britt's ranked number 10.
Is this the AP?
Yeah,
Which poll?
this is the
About
Voters Associated Press poll.
Okay, good.
And it's just the top 10. I mean, I snagged it from the Rockingham paper because they had an interesting article because Richmond was not in the top 10.
Correct.
Scotland County is ranked number 3. Pinecrest is ranked number 6. And then, as I talked to Coach last night, when we talk about strength of schedule, Pinecrest, you could argue that they haven't played anybody. Strategically, you can say that makes sense because we're automatically in the playoff qualified as we start the conference. I don't know. And then you could argue that you gave your team false hope and you find out what's really real when you hit that conference and you see Scotland and you see Richmond.
Happens a lot in basketball too.
Oh yeah. And coach is like, hey, Glenn, we play who we play. You want to find out what you got, and I can understand both angles of it. I really can, because like, man, why are we playing these teams when we know we got the conference that we play in? Here's the deal: every goal every year is to win a state championship. Don't win it, it's failure. Every year the goal is to win a conference championship. You don't win it, it's failure. Every year is to qualify for the playoffs. You don't qualify for the playoffs, that's failure. We are measured by those 3 things. And when you look at Scotland County, 2 years, and coming up on 3 years removed from a state championship. Richmond County, 2008 state champs. They have set the mark of where we want to be with those two programs. Pinecrest as well, because I think they've been tied as conference champions. And so it's just one of those things that's going to take some time. But I mean, if you don't have those 3 goals every year,
Okay,
you just,
it's nice to have the goal, but here's my point.
well,
Based on
you got to have that goal.
what you just said in those 3 categories,
Mm-hmm.
then what does that make Hoke County over the last 7 years?
Oh, the last 7? You can go over the last whenever. When has Hoke County won a conference championship?
In
Do
the
you know?
60s?
Do you know?
In the
When is
70s.
conference? 72.
72.
Thank you, Larry Long. 1972. Okay, that's when he won a conference championship in football. When they last time won a state championship in football?
Never.
When they won a state championship in anything?
Baseball in
1990
or 91, I
Okay,
believe.
so I mean, let's be clear. I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying.
You got to
gotta
measure
have
stuff
goals.
by that.
You got to have goals, but I
Because
don't think it's
anything
a
under that-
failure if you don't win your conference championship.
Yeah. Oh, but all you left with is stories and ain't no rings. Ain't no awards for that.
Well,
as they
there's a-
say.
there's a
They're
lot
like the song
more-
says, there's no awards for that. There's no conference championship trophy. There's no state ring on your finger.
There's a lot more
And,
to high
you
school
gotta-
football than just winning a conference championship.
Not much more. Not much more.
I think that
Because
they're
if-
teaching
and you know
guys
why?
discipline.
Yeah,
I
and
think
you know
they're
why I
teaching
say that?
guys teamwork.
How many coaches have we had since 2010? 3.
By a bunch.
We haven't been deep in the plaffs since Coach Bryant in
07?
2007.
Yeah, 7.
And deep in the playoffs was 2004. So if it didn't mean anything, those guys would still be here, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but some of those guys on those teams went on to do pretty great things. Like you
I'm not
said
talking about the
earlier.
players, I'm talking about the coaches.
I'm
No,
talking about
players,
the team.
yeah.
I'm talking about the
Oh,
team.
players, no
You
question. They went on to be great Americans.
You said if you didn't win the state championship, conference championship, or go to the playoffs, it's a failure.
That's a coach's approach, yeah, it's a failure, in my mind. If I'm an individual player, it's the same thing I told my son now. If I'm a player, you set the highest goals.
Yeah.
State championship, boom, write it down. Conference championship, write it down. Playoffs, write it down. Other than that, you just play some games. And you know you need at least 6 wins to make it to the playoffs? 5? We've had
So
4.
maybe they should
And I mean,
schedule some cream puffs.
well, I mean, you know,
Maybe
that's
they
back
should.
and forth. I mean, if you schedule a cream puff and you go out the first round of playoffs, what do you do?
You made the playoffs.
Yeah, you made the
got
playoffs,
one of your goals.
and you got some money.
And you got-
Because
and
the
you got
playoffs,
some
you get some money. But I mean, you got to set these goals and you got to go for them.
Oh, I mean,
Other than
goals
that,
are fine, but I'm just saying.
But I'm
pass or
not
fail.
saying that kids are a failure in of itself. I'm saying we did not win. And if that's not your goal, it doesn't really mean nothing that you get 10 wins and you went out the first round of playoffs. Ain't no award for that, man.
I believe there's some guys
You
who
can
are
have,
really proud
you
of
can
that
have,
conference win. Especially the
A
year
conference
they-
win or
a
Richmond?
If they won 10 games that season, when was the 10-game season?
Never at Hope.
Okay,
But in the case of Pinecrest, I think they had a 10-game win season and didn't win the conference championship.
right, it's probably because they
Yeah.
were a little soft.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it soft. I mean, strategically, you could argue that it makes sense. I mean, I look at both sides. Did you play someone that you knew you could beat? So you know you could ensure that you make the playoffs and have a confidence builder for your kids? Or did you give them a false confidence?
Right.
Much like
Let's
I
look at
mentioned
the top
Wilmington
5.
Ashley, right? Wilmington Ashley, last year we played them, beat them. They didn't win another game after that.
Right, let's look
You
at
know,
the top 5. Who do you think out of that top 5 is qualified enough to win the state championship?
Well, you know, out of the
You
top
got to
10,
say Scotland
if you're
County,
ranked,
because they've done it before.
if you're ranked, all of them are qualified.
I don't,
And let's
I
talk,
disagree.
if you're ranked in the top 10, that means you punch your ticket to the show. You are qualified for the playoffs.
The playoffs,
Right,
I'm talking
and-
about,
well, here's
let's
the
just,
thing.
all right, out of the top 10,
Anything
pick 4.
can happen in playoffs.
Pick 4.
It won't
that
be
you think-
Scotland County.
That you think will go
And
to the
here's-
final 4.
No, I can only pick one. Mallard Creek.
So you think Mallard Creek is strong enough to go to the
Yes, I
playoff?
do.
I'm picking
To
Scotland
go the
County.
whole way. I'm not.
Because Scotland
I'm
County's
not.
been there
You know,
before.
yeah, but Richard Bailey hasn't been there well, I take that back.
Yeah, he was the
That's
one that took-
spot.
he's the
He
one
has
that took
been
him there.
He went with Scotland. He went with Jack Britt. He's cursed. He's yet to win a state championship. He is a bridesmaid, never the bride. I'm just saying. He hasn't won one, man.
We'll ask him,
Ain't
we'll
no
ask
awards
him when
for
we play.
I know ass.
I think
already know.
I think
he has not won a state
let me see.
championship.
I think
he
out
went
of the
deep.
top
He
10,
went with Jack Britt. He went with Scotland. Here you go.
out of the
A
top 10, I think you got Pinecrest. I mean, not Pinecrest. Scotland County, Mallard Creek. I agree with you on Mallard Creek.
Charlotte Catholic. Charlotte
I
Catholic.
do not agree with Greensboro Dudley. I don't think Butler is that good this year.
Yeah, well, yeah, Butler's
Jack
ranked
Britt,
number one and now
because
they're
I've
six.
seen them, I think they're good enough to go to the Final Four.
Jack
Jack
Britt?
Britt, Scotland County.
If you're not, end of the day, if you're not number one, brother, you're
I'm
just
just
a
saying.
bridesmaid.
I'm just saying, the Final Four. This is just for fun. Ain't nobody putting money on it.
No, ain't nobody putting the money on it.
I
You
think
know that
out of
was
the
the
top
FanDuel.
10, yeah, and the only ones getting rich then are the ones that own it.
Yeah. Well, let's take a break. We'll come back. We're going to close out with the Rock of Hope segment. Talking a little bit of racing, which I don't know if it's going to happen or not, man.
Rockfish Fire Department.
What they do?
That's the race this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Rockfish
We'll be
Fire.
right back.